Welcome to this in-depth analysis of the escalating threat posed by Russian spy drones stalking NATO supply lines in Germany, which directly endangers Ukraine's vital lifeline of Western support. In an escalating espionage campaign, Russia has been launching drones concentrated in Germany's Thuringia region to observe Western logistics efforts to shore up Ukraine's defense. Worries have been sparked that as these unmanned intruders continue to infiltrate critical areas, they could undermine the flow of aid to Kyiv. We'll delve deeply into the emergence of this threat, the alarming scale and complexity of the incursions, the specific targets and their intentions, Germany's ongoing response efforts, the broader pattern of Russian hybrid warfare, and the potentially dire implications for European security. As European security officials have warned over the past 3 years, Russia's ambitions may extend beyond Ukraine, with the war seen as only the beginning. Russian surveillance drones, some reportedly Iranian-made, have been infiltrating NATO's critical supply routes, ferrying military aid to Ukraine. This development marks a bold development in Moscow's efforts to disrupt Western assistance to Kyiv. Speaking to the New York Times, US and European military officials have confirmed that these unmanned intruders are part of Moscow's escalating espionage campaign, gathering intelligence to bolster its sabotage operations across Europe and support its war effort in Ukraine. The flights, concentrated in Germany's Thuringia region, signals a dangerous escalation in Russia's hybrid warfare. These drones are suspected to be launched from ships in the Baltic Sea. They are not mere nuisances but sophisticated tools of espionage, designed for precise intelligence collection. German intelligence officials believe these platforms, some bearing the hallmarks of Iranian manufacturing, are collecting critical data on the logistics of US and allied weapons shipments. Such information could enable Russia to pinpoint supply chains and identify manufacturers' testing grounds and depots, allowing them to orchestrate sabotage that disrupts the flow of arms through Poland into Ukraine. While photographic reconnaissance drones are thought to predominate, providing visual intelligence, some Russian platforms perform signals intelligence, SIGINT missions, trawling for radio signals and electronic emissions associated with German, NATO, and allied military facilities. This dual capability, visual and electronic, amplifies the threat as it allows for comprehensive mapping of vulnerabilities in Western defenses. Between January and March of 2025, 536 unidentified drones were detected over Germany in 270 separate incidents, highlighting the growing frequency of such airspace violations. Russian drone operations are becoming increasingly complex, with many missions involving multiple drones operating simultaneously over targets of interest. At least 55 cases saw swarms of Russian drones hovering over military bases and critical infrastructure, predominantly at night, raising alarms about their intent. These flights target sensitive sites like the Schwesing Airbase, where Ukrainian troops train on Patriot systems, and Manching Air Base, a hub for testing German military aircraft. This points to a strategic intelligence gathering effort aimed at exploiting weaknesses in NATO's logistics network. By focusing on such locations, the drones are gathering data that could directly impact Ukraine's defensive capabilities. Russian drones over Europe are not just spying, they're mapping critical NATO ground lines of communication and supply, identifying sensors and air defense locations as well as NATO command and control elements. This mapping goes beyond mere observation. It scouts locations for the pre-positioning of assets, weapons, and explosives for sabotage operations that could choke Ukraine's lifeline. The intentions here are clear. By compiling detailed intelligence on these targets, Russia aims to create disruptions that weaken the steady flow of military aid in order to bolster its objectives in the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. The concentration on training sites like Schwesing highlights how these operations could hinder Ukraine's ability to effectively utilize advanced systems like Patriots, while bases like Manching represent key nodes in Germany's own military infrastructure that indirectly support NATO efforts. Later than might have been hoped, German authorities are scrambling to respond to this persistent threat. Berlin is bolstering anti-drone defenses at military installations, with a German armed forces spokesperson labeling the flights a considerable security risk, which reflects the growing concern within the military establishment. Yet, existing countermeasures, including the Bundeswehr's HP-47 electronic warfare jammers, have proven ineffective against these advanced Russian platforms, exposing a critical gap in Germany's air defense capabilities that leaves key sites vulnerable. In January 2025, Berlin proposed amending its Aviation Security Act to allow the military to shoot down suspicious drones, a move spurred by repeated incursions over bases like Manching and Neuburg an der Donau. This legislative push indicates an attempt to adapt to the evolving threat, but perhaps unsurprisingly, the political will to defend German skies does not seem to be there. The ineffectiveness of current tools like the HP-47 jammers suggests that Russian drones may hold a technological edge, which will force Germany to rethink its approach to airspace security in the face of hybrid threats. Russia's drone operations fit a broader pattern of hybrid warfare, where espionage blends with direct actions to destabilize opponents. Western officials point to a string of Kremlin-linked sabotage acts: warehouse fires in Britain, an attack on a Norwegian dam, attempts to sever Baltic Sea cables, and a campaign of sabotage against cell towers in Sweden aimed at destabilizing Europe and eroding support for Ukraine. These incidents form a web of disruptions designed to sow chaos and weaken resolve among NATO members. Despite a reported decline in such incidents in 2025, due to heightened NATO intelligence sharing and European crackdowns, Moscow's ability to recruit intelligence operatives, assets, and agents remains alarmingly robust, allowing it to sustain these efforts. Massively downplayed by the media, the May arrest of 3 Ukrainian nationals in a Russia-linked plot to bomb German-based transatlantic cargo planes underscores the gravity and lethality of this threat, showing how sabotage can escalate to potentially catastrophic levels. Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed the drone reports as fake, claiming Germany would not stay silent if the allegations were true. Yet, the evidence is mounting and the implications are dire, as these operations collectively aim to erode the foundations of Western unity and support for Ukraine through a multifaceted campaign of interference. What do you think about this escalation in hybrid warfare? Do you think the threats are real? Should Europe bolster its defenses? Let us know in the comments below.